Good everyone. It is now 1:30 and welcome to the Town of Highland Beach Town Commission meeting. And I'd like to call the meeting to order. If we could have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Chinovsky. Commissioner Goldberg,
Present.
Commissioner Peters,
Present.
Vice Mayor Stern,
Present.
Mayor Moore,
Present.
Town Manager Laverty,
Present.
Town Attorney Rubin.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. If we could all rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So no invocation today? No, okay. We'll skip over the invocation. Any changes to the approval, to the agenda?
No changes.
If no changes, we could have a motion, please, to approve.
Motion to approve the agenda.
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Moving on to presentations, resolution number 2025-005, a resolution mission of the Town of Highland Beach, Florida, ratifying the selection, appointments, and term of office of members of the Board of Adjustments and Appeals. And so today we have Rajiv Arora, who has submitted to fill an application to fill the vacancy for a 3-year term. So Mr. Arora, if you wouldn't mind coming to this podium and just say a couple things about yourself and why it is that you submitted an application for this board.
Been in Highland Beach now 4 years, and I've been in the US now for over 40 years, and I've been doing software and that. My last company sold a year before last, and I had to do my usual 12 months after private company buys you out, and that ended in December. My neighbor, Diane Madden, said that said that you got to volunteer for the town now and do something. So I came in and put in the paperwork for volunteering for any of the things that you guys might need help in, and talked to David Stern, and I had a good conversation and found out that the Board of Adjustments and Appeals, is that the right one? Is the one that seemed like the good fit. So that's what brings me here, and whatever I can do to help.
Oh, well, great. Well, thank you very much. We're going to go through each of the commissioners. They may ask you a question.
Sure.
So Commissioner Shavnosky.
Okay. So for the last 20 years or so, I was doing education technology. So back in 2000, we started a company called Illuminate, which did like a virtual classroom. You probably use Zoom, so it was like a precursor to Zoom. And we would have students from all over the place log in and be able to do distance learning and all of that. Then we sold that company to a company called Blackboard, which is a huge learning management system company. And then we did another one called Parchment, which is an electronic transcript company. And that one got sold maybe 6 years ago now. And then I did a company called Capture, which is a student recruitment company. So recruiting students and finding, which ones would be the right match for a university and all that. And that's the one we just sold. So, thanks.
Hello, thank you for coming in today. I see you have very broad experience. Excellent resume, very impressive.
Thanks.
And you were highly recommended by the chair of the committee. Were you apprised of what the Board of Adjustments and Appeals do? And
I mean, I can surmise what it is that it does. I have not been a part of one of their meetings to know all of that. My assumption is it's homeowners and builders coming out and saying, hey, we need this kind of a variance from whatever the.
Well, would you be available to attend the meetings?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You have the time?
Yeah, so
to
I'm like fully retired, and now looking at other things. So I'm the co-president of my church in Boca, and this would be kind of my second thing that I would be adding.
Well, that's terrific. Thank you so much for coming.
Sure.
I think that you would be a wonderful addition to our team at the town. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah, Raja, you got a great resume, and it's a very impressive that every company you belong to was a growth in that. So that's an asset that we have here. And Fred Rosen said not only you're qualified, you're highly qualified. So I welcome you, and maybe you can help us, the town, with any kind of software that we have there. Thank you. Thank you for volunteering.
Absolutely. I usually end up doing,
Doing
some
stuff?
of that stuff because I know enough about technology. So eventually, people start asking me questions. So
Beautiful.
happy
Thank
to
you.
help.
As we have spoken, you're a welcome addition. Thank you. I would suggest that you go into the archive and look at the previous meetings of the board to get a real good feel for exactly the type
Yeah.
of cases, what goes on and what the role is. So, but welcome and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I did, go to the website, and I don't know if I wasn't looking at the right thing, but I saw that maybe the last meeting minutes were back in November. So it could be that there should be more, but I did read up the November minutes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, welcome. And thank you very much for volunteering. We really appreciate that. And yeah, we welcome your skill set for sure. Any observations of anything, any ideas for improvement are definitely welcome. And yes, I saw that you were well qualified by the board chair, and hearing that Diane suggested you to volunteer, that also supports the decision to bring you on. So thank you very much for volunteering. And
Absolutely.
if there is nothing else,
Yeah.
well, that's it. You can sit down. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay.
We need a motion.
Yes. And
Make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-005.
Second?
Member Goldberg,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stern,
Yes.
Member Chernowski, Member Peters,
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
Next item B, resolution number 2025-13, a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Highland Beach, Florida, ratifying the selection, appointments, and terms of office of members of the code enforcement and providing for an effective date. And we have Ross Muscolino, who has submitted an application for this board. If you would please come to the podium, state your name, where you live, and if you could please a few things about why you're volunteering for this board.
Okay, I live at 45 Ocean, right up the street. I've been a resident there for full-time 4 years, a renter for 3 years. I'm a big believer in community service. I spent 20 years in the fire department. I do soup kitchens, been on a lot of different committees. Basically, I've been in the construction industry for about, I think it's about 55 years now. And have a lot of experience from everything from hospitals to high-rise buildings, and thought that I could be some of assistance to the town, and I like getting involved.
Excellent.
That's it.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Szymanski.
Curious if you do it, not,
Go to the beach. Right out the door. Say again?
what is driving you to actually want to do that?
Again, community service, and I like to keep busy. I mean, I still do jobs here and there if I'm recommended for somebody, but
Hello, how are you?
very good.
Well, again, I'm so impressed with our community coming out to serve, and your qualifications, much like Rajiv, is amazing.
Thank
It's
you.
great. And I understand also that we are in need of a chairperson for the committee.
Okay.
And if the commission approves you, would you be available to serve as a chairman?
Yes.
You would, okay. So I was very impressed. You're a civil engineer and you have such extensive experience in related fields to what we need in the code enforcement. And I notice also that you have specifically, you set forth in your resume that you've been involved in construction of firehouses.
Yes, many.
So perhaps we can also
Leverage that.
consult,
Yeah.
have your consultation
I
and
was
what we're
also
doing.
A general contractor, owned a company called Marquis Construction. I think it's in there.
Mhm.
And I built, because we did a lot of public works. I did several firehouses.
You still engaged in the business in any states that you were
Oh,
practicing
yeah,
in?
I get a
You
call.
are?
I built a house on Brooks Lane for somebody. I was at the, right, what's the condo here? Highland Beach Club. I
Okay.
did,
So there may be some conflicts perhaps, and
I
that
don't do
as
that
it comes
much.
up.
Somebody recommends me and I
Okay.
get involved, but if I do 2 things a year, 3 things a year.
Okay, that's wonderful. I don't see anything. I mean, you volunteer and I think it's wonderful and you're quickly very engaged in our community. I thank you for,
Thank you.
for coming out and putting your name in.
Thank you.
You have my support as chairperson as well. Thank you.
Yeah, Ross, you work for some big people in New York there, Capelli's.
Yep.
Did you work on the Ritz-Carlton on White Plains at all? Did you? They came out nice and I see the medical center from Westchester and the
Medical
airport.
Center. New Rock City, you're probably familiar with.
Yeah, with that, yeah.
But,
Yeah, so they're great projects. But I love the best. You were a volunteer fireman for 10 years, so
no,
maybe
20.
the
I was 20.
20. Oh, so maybe you can help our chief out there sitting back there and help him maybe design some of these or something like that. Thank you for volunteering.
Also, my father was a building inspector for 30 years.
Really?
Yeah, so that's kind of in the.
Ah,
Thank you, very well qualified.
you.
A couple of administrative questions. I'm looking at the application. There are a couple of boxes that aren't checked off. I just want to run them real quick, make
Yep.
sure, okay. You're a full-time resident, correct?
Yes,
Okay. You're not serving on it, okay. Have you ever served on a town board or committee?
no.
Okay,
Or committee or this town board committee?
town,
No,
okay. Are you willing to attend monthly board meetings in person?
yes,
Okay, and you understand that in absence of 3 consecutive meetings will be considered a resignation?
yes.
Okay, thank you. Just administrative thing. I'll ask you the same question. If you had an opportunity to look at some of the videos of past meetings, because some of the responsibilities of the board have changed within the last,
Yeah, I looked, there's not many. I
Right.
guess because the magistrate has been doing it
Right.
but, so there wasn't that much, but I'm a pretty quick learner.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for calling.
Yes, thank you very much for
Thank you.
volunteering and welcome. Yeah, one of the reasons why there haven't been too many meetings is because we haven't had enough people participate in the board. So thank you for volunteering
Okay.
and helping fill out that board. On your responses to the questions so far, really impressive. I think your qualifications are perfect
Okay.
for this position and you definitely have my support. So thank you very much. You can have a
Okay.
seat and we will move forward. So we could have a motion.
Yes, I move to approve resolution number 2025 dash 13.
I'll second that.
13?
Member Goldberg,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stern,
Yes.
Member Chinovsky,
Yes.
Member Peters,
yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Russ.
Thank you
on the
very
committee.
much for volunteering. Are there any public comments? Seeing no public comments, moving on, item 8, ordinances, there are none. Consent agenda. Any discussion about the consent agenda or anything? No? Okay. If there's no further questions about consent agenda, if we could have a motion to approve?
Yes, motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to unfinished business, Building Department Recertification Program update.
Good afternoon, Commission. My name is Katerina Jadawi, here to present an update. So since the last commission meeting, we have recertified 3 buildings. Those buildings are the 45 Ocean, 4505 building, Clarendon, and Ocean Pines. We have 3 buildings that have active code cases. They are overdue on their applications. 2 of them are overdue on the concrete restoration applications, which it's actually one building. It's the townhouses of Highland Beach, but both buildings in that condo. And Regency Highland, the 3908 building is overdue on their electrical application. We have 24 buildings under permit for concrete restoration and 1 building under permit for just electrical to be recertified. We have 1 building that's still within the due date to submit the phase 1 reports, and 3 buildings are still too far to be notified, so there's no status mentioned for them.
Excuse me, on the overdue, do we get a projection of when it will be completed or when they'll comply on the one that you?
They have compliance date, so for the electrical, they have a compliance date of May 11th before a special magistrate meeting is scheduled. For townhouses of Highland Beach, they already went to a special magistrate hearing and an extension was granted, and they have until May 8th to secure a permit.
So we'll-
Katrina, how many buildings do we have complete?
19.
19. Wow, that's good.
Yes.
Very good.
So
More than Boca.
I was just going to ask, what are the stats as far as how are we doing in comparison with other South Florida towns and cities?
Well, because of the building official, Jeff, he definitely got a head start. All props to him.
Good for the boss. Yes.
Definitely got ahead of different municipalities. And so I'd say we're moving forward a lot quicker, or we're more ahead, I'd say.
Okay.
That's great.
He's covering, I don't know what. Someone said.
Well, great. Kudos to the building department.
Yeah,
and
based on my
everyone.
other cities, you're way far ahead. So.
Yeah.
That's great news.
Thank you.
Okay,
Excellent.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the Florida Department of Transportation R project update.
Yeah, I'm gonna have, Pat's been working closely with FDOT and the contractor, so Pat, if you could
Good
bring us
afternoon,
up to speed.
Commission. Any questions? I'm here for any questions that you'd like me to answer for the A1A project.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
I
go
have,
ahead.
or okay, maybe we all have the same one. I'm
Okay.
just-
What's the one question? Is it the flooding?
Before the start of the project, if you drive down during a rainstorm, on the west side, you would see flooding.
Mhm.
Okay, and now that they paved the roads, et cetera, very little flooding on the left side. But I noticed as I was driving down towards Linton, from here, there was quite a bit of flooding on the right side.
Okay.
So it looked like the grading
Right.
was moving a little bit east. And I thought, it was my imagination, or it was just a bad day.
No, it's just a bad day. Here's the solution, not the solution, but here's the answer. They have to do a lot more grading. That's not the final lift. There's still another 1.25 inch lift, which they'll crown the road so it goes this way, so it runs off of both ways. So right out there right now, that's not the final product. And they have to come back and redo the swales on the side of the street. So the project still has a ways to go before the flooding disappears. But they are aware of it. I make sure that they're aware of it as well. So.
Yeah, the managers and other people get quick updates of what's going on for the weekend and so forth. How accurate are they? I've noticed times when they said there's going to be work and there really wasn't.
On the weekends, they normally let us know on, like, today's usually the meeting date. They'll ask, do we have anything going on? That they want to work Saturday, but now they don't work every Saturday, but they usually do let us know if they're going to work on a Saturday.
Have there been any changes to the original plans relative to, for example, the turn lane on,
The only thing that really has changed is the height. It has come up a couple of inches higher than they originally planned. That's the only change so far.
Yeah, this,
also my assumption is when they finished the west side bike lanes, then they'll begin
They got to go to the east side. They're
Right.
taking about a foot off,
okay. And
about a
that's
foot
where
off
we'll-
on the west side.
and
I
that's
mean, on
what-
the east side.
on these, that's where we'll have the situation where some people have to remove their hedges and so forth.
All the hedges on A1A are supposed to come out. Everyone that
Every one of-
abuts, everyone that abuts, that was part of the project.
I think it's important we have
Yes,
clear
th-
communication to the
that's-
building manager.
That's what not allows the water to run off when you have those hedges right there. Then the water can't get off the road to absorb in.
No,
So,
I understand that, but I
Yep.
think we need clear communication to the building managers so they understand what has to happen and the approximate timeframe
mhm.
so they can make the necessary arrangements.
Right. And just to be clear, everybody was told at one time that all those hedges are coming out. We've made that clear when the project
Right.
first started. All the hedges are coming out.
But if I recall correctly, they were also given the opportunity to either have them discarded or have them kept by the individual unit.
That's,
If you check the notes, they would-
I understand that, but it's quite costly and very, for those Green Island ficuses, it's so much easier to get rid of them and you can't put them back.
so all
So,
I'm asking for is clarity.
okay.
Okay.
All right. We'll get some clarity for you.
Yeah, we've been asking FDOT for clarity too,
Yes.
and it's very cloudy out.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
But Pat, on the when I run up to Clinton, I see the sidewalk and the new bike path they're putting in is much higher than the sidewalk. So they're going to grade that down, I guess, a bit?
Yes, they're going to do some grading. They're going to raise it quite a bit in Highland Beach. Some of that has to come up. Some of the sidewalk will be raised in Highland Beach as well.
Okay.
I'd like to go back to that bike lane on the east side and
Mhm.
removal of the hedges. I know we have to have some discussion
Mhm.
on what's going to be allowed and not allowed, because one of the reasons most people have put in the hedges is because tire tracks, people parking.
Correct.
So we have to give some alternatives if we, or discuss alternatives, so it doesn't hit us in the last section.
Sure, sure. And I imagine, of course, everybody's going to have to follow the rules this time and get permits from FDOT to plant this stuff. Everybody just did what they wanted to in the past. So, and I imagine FDOT will let you put some hedges back so many feet back, not right alongside, like most of them are right on the edge. That doesn't allow the water to get off. That doesn't allow people to get off the road if they have to. So I imagine once they get a permit, they'll be told where they can plant, and where they can't plant through FDOT.
Okay, I'll just say again, we need clarity of what is expected, what's going to happen, so people can prepare for it.
Correct.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
sure, sure.
So I'm hearing a lot of concern
Mhm.
from residents about going through this big project and all the inconveniences, and then we still have the flooding issue.
Right.
So let's say hypothetically, and hopefully this doesn't happen, there's still flooding problems that are observed
Right.
close to the end of the project or after the project.
It-
What do we do in that?
Here's the thing everybody still has to remember. We're on a barrier island. There's going to be times when there's heavy downpours and it's high tide. The water has no place to go. Nobody can do anything about that. So there's going to have to be some patience as well with that. It's not going to be a dry A1A constantly. So we're going to have to accept some of that.
Right.
But obviously, if it's total failure, we will have to go back to FDOT and do what we need to do.
Okay. So, potentially we may have to escalate our concerns at some point.
It could, but again, I think we're getting way ahead because the
Okay.
project's nowhere near over. They
Okay.
still have 14 or 15 places on the south end to do drainage.
Okay.
So they're still not done with drainage. And like I say, the slope of the road's going to help quite a bit.
Okay.
Once they put the crown in, water runs this way and that way and gets off of A1A, I think we'll be in a lot better shape.
Okay. So the project was supposed to complete end of June or June-ish. Oh, end of May.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
Originally end of
What
May.
I
is
don't
your,
mean to chuckle, but that's never going to happen.
That's not gonna
It's-
happen.
Well, they also have 30 rain days that they're given
Right.
back. So there's 1 month that it's
right,
going to be set back.
right.
And the meat of the project may be done there, but it's going to be the punch list, the driveway tie-ins. That's going to
Right.
probably slow them down. I myself think in the end of August.
End of August. Okay, that's good to know.
That's my projection.
Okay, good to know. I think that's a good estimate.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a reasonable, it's still in the summer before everybody comes
Before
back, so
everybody gets
hopefully
back, they should be
won't be-
buttoning things up.
it won't be too disruptive. Yeah, I think the minor punch list stuff isn't a big deal.
You're right,
But
right,
the
unless
bulk,
it's your
you know.
driveway.
Right, yeah, unless it's your
You know, if
driveway,
it's
yep.
your driveway, then it's something different.
Then it's
Right,
annoying. Yeah,
Right.
okay.
So,
Anything else we should know that we didn't ask that you think we should know about?
nothing off the top of my head, but
No.
if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to call me.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Well, thank you
Sure.
very much for the
Sure.
update.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate
Well,
it.
wait, Pat, I
Oh,
have.
sorry,
a
one more.
quick
Sorry,
question.
go ahead.
The, with respect to the greenery in certain areas, I can't discern, will we have greenery between the path, the bike path
Uh-huh.
and the sidewalk? It seems that so in some of the areas,
Uh-huh.
it tends to get very narrow and right now it's cut pretty deep on the west.
Yeah, I'm still not following the question.
Okay.
but-
We have the bicycle path.
Uh-huh.
And right now we have greenery and trees and a little more greenery and we have a sidewalk. So once we take more and more from the west side, are we going to have some greenery, some grass before we have a sidewalk?
That's all going to depend on the area and where you're talking about. But
Mhm.
I mean, like I said, anything else that's planted in the right of way is going to have to go through DOT now. So, yeah, I mean, in all purposes, I would think so. Yes, you should be able to plant greenery on that side of the side.
There
Okay,
was a plan, correct? There was a plan that showed all the greenery and,
Yeah, everything that was coming out. Yeah.
yeah,
DOT's not planting anything.
but sod, were they planting grass?
Well, I
Everything?
think they'll do some restoration.
Right,
correct. Yeah, yeah.
right.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but
definitely no hedges
No,
or,
no.
and I
there-
think some of the trees were being moved.
There's a couple of trees that's been removed and a
Um,
few more that have to come out.
Right, but there
Yeah.
was a whole plan that was
Mhm.
shown to us and that's still,
It's,
the-
it still holds. And I think getting back to what Pat said, that's important. There's a couple of spots that's going to be really constrained in that right away where the greenery might be
Right.
a width of sod, because I don't
Right.
see how that grade transition can occur
Right.
when you go from the edge of metal or the edge of that bike path and you've got a foot drop to the current grade, but you only have a run of say 12 feet.
right.
That's pretty steep. So it's going to shrink and we have to raise the bike path up. And Mayor, I know we had spoken, I have some concern for some residents that when that bike path comes up to have a nice transition grade in the right of way from the road to the sidewalk, their driveway is still going to be a foot short. So there's going to be some drop offs and I don't know how FDOT's going to handle doing work on private property. They're not obligated to, but boy, their projects, and I don't say that's throughout. There's a handful of spots where it's going to be really difficult
And I've brought
to
that up.
transition that project from current conditions to previous conditions and just simply tie it together. There's going to be some steep grade in there.
I've brought that up a few times and I've been assured by some of the engineers that, don't worry, we know what, we'll take care of it. We're gonna, so they've been trying to reassure me, but I have the same, the same concerns.
Yeah,
as
so there's
Marshall
one
does.
spot, we have a sewer structure that's got to be elevated probably 2 feet, foot and a half, and it's 2 feet off the edge of the road. So I don't know how that's gonna, and it's in a driveway.
Right. it's
So I
in the
don't
middle of
know,
the driveway.
you can't, that's gonna have to be somewhat flat to meet the grate lid and then drop off. So it's gonna be a little bit tricky in a few spots. And I think those are the detail work that's gonna really bog the project down that the contractor's not.
We also
anticipating.
paid for that. We paid $175,000 to raise all of our sewer
Mm.
Probably
manholes.
should have relocated it. Probably would have been a better use. of
Well,
dollars.
yeah, that could have been, but
We might want to talk. Anyway.
yeah,
sorry.
we'll talk about
And Pat, the sidewalk, some of the locations that they damaged when they were working, they're gonna fix them.
it. I'll make sure all of that is fixed up
Okay.
and, I's are dotted and T's are crossed.
I think we should have pushed harder for the Pat Roman plan, just have them redo the entire.
Yeah.
length of bike
I'll
path
try.
as
I
part of
tried
that
at the beginning,
project.
they wouldn't do it, but I'll keep needling them. Yeah, because because once they start doing patches, it's not going to look that
Yeah.
good. So I
Definitely.
think the whole path needs to be redone. I'll keep needling them on that, see if we can't get something done there.
Beautiful. Okay.
Excellent. Well, thank you for keeping
Okay.
on it
Sure.
and for giving us
Thank
the
you, Pat.
update.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to new business, designation of the town's voting delegates to Palm Beach County League of Cities for 2025, 2026. Is this, Marshall, you gonna? present
Oh,
this one?
yeah. So I got to get the number, our current delegates. I think Commissioner Goldberg is our voting delegate. And then I thought Evelyn David was the backup currently. Was that the current arrangement we have? It's 11A. But we just need to designate,
Are you up for that, Jason?
yeah, I don't think we need that many alternates, but a voting delegate and a alternate. And again, that's usually at the League of Cities meeting in August. So whoever will be attending or is assured that they're going to attend would be the group to start picking from.
Is it appropriate to nominate an individual?
Well, I have
It's up
my,
to you.
my name in for, again,
Again,
for voting
right.
delegate, but we do need a second.
Yeah, I would nominate Don Peters. to be
I'll
second.
second that. How about you?
All right, I'll go.
Well, thank you for accepting.
All right.
that. Okay.
Well,
So we need a motion?
Yeah, simple motion,
Yes.
votes,
Okay.
votes fine.
I move that we designate Commissioner Goldberg as the voting delegate and Commissioner Peters as the alternate.
Second the motion?
Seconded.
Oh.
Can I second?
I think
Second.
the vice mayor seconded. The
Yeah,
vice mayor
second.
seconded.
already.
Thank you.
Wait, wait.
We could have a
I can't
roll
second
call, please.
myself.
Roll call or,
Oh,
Voice
okay.
vote.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much for volunteering.
Yep.
Resolution number 2025-012, a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Highland Beach, Florida, terminating the town's 401A defined contribution plan and providing for an effective date.
So we did this before, submitted this back to Mission Square to close out our old 457 and 401A plans. They said we had to change a little bit of language, so we're here yet again. Again, only shows why we left Mission Square. But so this is just to close out the existing accounts. There's four folks, I think, that still remain. We are in active contact for those individuals to liquidate their accounts. If they don't, they will be migrated over to Lincoln and provided with a comparable matching program. There's no contributions going in, but they're not going to lose their money, and this will kind of force migration if they don't close it out, because one has passed and three are retired. Two are retired and one has left employment. So we've been in contact. They should be actively moving. If not, we will move it for them and put it into a Lincoln account, for which then they'll have to go through that process. But this should formalize that switch.
How many people are currently in the pension program, in the retirement program?
In the 457, we probably have around 35 employees. 401A, that's me. Hi. So I'm the only one in that. It's basically the town manager program. And there's one officer that's in it that can't go into the FRS. And then all remaining employees outside of two of us are FRS members. So they're all in the Florida retirement system. So our 457 is a voluntary program. The 401A basically was just me, is since I'm not in the 457, it's a kind of a mirrored 401k kind of, since I don't get pensions, I get the 401k.
So new hires would be,
Pension.
Okay,
Yep. They're all in
Yeah,
the pension.
pension.
Yep.
okay.
It's a compulsory program. It's not optional. All
Okay.
employees are forced to go in. Outside of me, under statute, I had the ability to withdraw.
Okay, that's good.
I'm curious, who's managing the defined benefit plan? I'm interested in that.
That is Lincoln Financial under the guidance of Sageview, which is basically our fiduciary advisor who basically does a series of municipalities. We were doing quite poorly, at the employees in general were doing quite poorly with the products that were offered by Mission Square. It was kind of a stagnant, and they started offering their own programs and own options like the Mission Square 2040 or Mission Square, large market, but they had high fees and poor performance. No one had the ability to monitor. So we went and got Sageview, thanks to the commission, and still thank you on behalf of the employees to have Sageview guide us through that. So they quarterly look at all of the investments that are available. They rate them based on a series of metrics and performance measures that we see as suitable to perform and get results for our employees. If they are bad, Sageview will work with Lincoln, remove that, find a substitute, and move those dollars for us.
Discretionary under their control.
What, Sageview? No, they have to get our permission to do those things, except for really bad stuff, but we're going to want them to move out of these certain investment options, which are poor performing, or their fees are too high, or they just consistently lose money. We don't want employees putting their money there. So we will pull them out and put them into a matched or a more appropriate product with the same risk tolerance, if you will, for that.
Any other discussion? I'm certainly in favor of this, so hopefully everybody else is.
Yeah.
Okay, if we could have a motion.
I move
Please.
to approve resolution number 2025-012. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to town commission comments, Commissioner Chudnovsky. Any comments?
My first meeting, Mayor. I'm very impressed with the volunteers. Tax history, and it's really exciting to see more volunteers in front of Highland Beach. So I want to thank you very, very much. But that's been my greatest joy to watch. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Goldberg.
Well, I wanted to thank and acknowledge our town manager for a magnificent party. Once again, the Commission's Spring Fling. It was a great party. Everyone enjoyed it. So wonderful that we're able to do this for our community. So bravo for the planning, the food, the music, the attendance, everyone enjoyed. And I look forward to our next convention, the annual convention at the Florida League of Cities. It's always very beneficial to all of us. We have an opportunity, we do get along very well, and it really it helps the board the commission become even more cohesive. And we get a lot out of it. The programs are wonderful, very informative. We do our ethical credits at that occasion. So we really look forward, and that's in August. That's it.
Okay, yeah, I want to echo those same words. Everybody's asking me, we can't wait for the next year for the food trucks and that, so I don't know how we're going to overdo it every year. We had about, what you said, 700-800 people at that one. That was good. Also, I'm amazed we got such good talent in Highland Beach, and I'm proud, like Ross and Raj volunteering, and I'm very happy that people come and help us out in our town, and thank you again.
I also would like to thank a great event. Everything went very well. I'd like to congratulate the new people on our boards. Can we afford the 20?
No, we may have to take a couple seconds.
Thank you very much.
Nothing from me. Moving on to town attorney,
No, ma'am. Thank you.
town manager.
Again, thank you for the comments, my wonderful team, Madison Skender. Thank you for helping me pull that off. You guys are really growing into your roles, and I appreciate everything you do for me and this town and this commission. Again, you'll see some emails coming through. We're kind of in racing up against the end of session, but there are some bills that are getting some traction. Sovereign immunity. Get ready, it's going up. I think we lose on this one. Right now it's at 500,000 a million, and that's growing from the 200,000 per person, 300,000 per incident cap on sovereign immunity is now going to go to 501 million. There are some legislators wrestling to have some other riders to have an automatic increase yet again at a part of the way through, hoping that amendment doesn't go through. We anticipated some uptick. Maybe not this high, but again, this will hit our insurance. We will work with our insurance brokers. The other one that's really moving quickly, which I'm a little bit surprised, is the one on recovery homes, kind of preempting local government from doing zoning as it relates to recovery residents and sober homes. I know our neighbors really have wrestled with that issue over the last, probably 20 years in Delray. That they can just go anywhere and nothing we can do about it. And we're totally preempted. So a little bit concerned if that keeps on going through. I don't know that we are a prime market for it, but our residential neighborhoods, maybe, those are maybe some high earners want to set up something because it's the cost, but surrounding us, that bill was kind of surprising. The preemption As much as we say at the Florida League of Cities meetings, our local heroes, local matters, it does. And the preemptions that keep getting hammered by the state. Again, only been here for 7 years. I'm still quite surprised at how strong and how much they want to move towards it. But those are the two big ones. Some of the other ones that are out there don't get us. Maybe on the enterprise fund transfers is something else we're going to have to keep an eye on, which limits our ability for our utility to cover. We do what we call a cost recovery or cost allocation model, where basically the water department, they have to pay the town for land, things of that nature, your time, my time. So we have to be a little bit cautious on how that goes. So we're keeping an eye on it, but we're moving towards the end. And we'll see, as you may have read in the post, again, our discretionary sales tax that we've been using for capital acquisition, that ceases December 31st. So we're going to have about 3 months into next year. So that's probably another 70 grand. And then that program that moves all the capital back to us. So now that we have fire and police, we're going to have to be a little more mindful during budgeting that we're not going to have that discretionary account. We're pretty close to closing it out based on our emergency repair of the generator we had to do. That took a big chunk out of discretionary, so we didn't hit the general fund. So we'll have to figure out how we do that moving forward. I know police has worked on some items with the task force to start getting dollars in that'll help with capital. So hopefully that'll take a little bit of the sting out of it. Again, we start meeting next month. We're going to get closer towards budget season. I'll be writing the managers monthly, unless you guys give me a weird reaction right now, that we are holding to our commitment to our residents of not changing our millage rate, not increasing the millage rate. And that's going to be my main theme that we've been moved to. We're meeting, the finance team here is going to be meeting this week to tie down the last of the 5-year. And we'll get that to you before we start getting into budget, so we could see how we're trending and projecting forward. And then we're just going to start into budget season, our fun time in the summer. And that starts your June meeting. We'll be making our preliminary presentation. But again, our goal and commitment is to not raise the millage rate. So we're still holding to that. I don't think we have anything to worry about in this year or possibly next year. But depending on how the economy goes, we just have to be careful and mindful on the out years where it's harder to project and a little more uncertainty.
When do we get the estimate from the county about the?
That's at the end of May. We get the preliminary estimate. The final estimate comes in July, 1st. And then by the July 17th meeting, we will be doing our not to exceed millage rate, which is the rate that we currently have. We're not changing that. If anything, we might go down just a touch because of the water debt. So we're in pretty good shape.
The differential in the discretionary fund, did you say it's around 70,000?
That's about what we got left. I think if we were the first quarter of next year, we usually get around 400,000, sometimes a little bit less, depends on sales tax generated. So, 75 to 100, I would guess would be the first quarter amount. I think we're going to finish this year flush. So that's about what we have left next year. So we'll keep an eye on that. But again, we're still, financial health here is strong as it gets. We're just wildly conservative so we can make and honor our commitments to holding tax rates and improve capital, keep public safety at the highest regard, keep employees employed, preferred employer, all those things. We're good. It's just we have to be cautious as we do that. That's all.
Great. Okay. Moving on, we still have, I guess, a few more vacancies, a couple of vacancies on the Code Enforcement Board still, the Natural Resources Preservation Board, and the Planning Board. Upcoming meetings and events, our next meeting of the Town Commission is May 6th at 1:30. On May 8th at 9:30 in the morning, we have the Planning Board regular meeting. And then on May 13th at 1 in the afternoon, we have the special magistrate hearing. And there are no board action reports. And with that, I think we can